Donald Trump was pro-choice until he decided to run for president.
100%.
Donald Trump's probably still pro-choice whenever he knocks someone up.
Donald Trump was a Democrat until he decided to run.
He gave money to Hillary until he decided to run for president. All of that is ignored.
Donald Trump said if he ever ran for president, he'd run as a Republican. I'm going to get the quote wrong, but essentially it was because it's easier to manipulate Republicans. And then you guys are falling for it.
Yeah.
This is I mean, people sometimes say, Brian, oh, you don't support Trump, but you don't say enough horrible things about him. Why? This is what he is.
Yeah.
None of this is surprising. If you vote for him, this is what he is. And then you did. And then you believe every nugget of bullshit that comes from him. And you don't have to think, oh, Brian, you're not conservative. Don't like me. You don't. I don't care. But here's the thing. You have other choices. You have very conservative Republicans that could win. And for some reason, you're willing to die on the battlefield of someone else's stupid personal war. And I don't understand it. You have the power. Look at the Declaration of Independence. Look at our Constitution. Your rights in the Declaration of Independence are bestowed upon you by the Creator. They're given to you. You have the power, not the politicians, not the monarchy, not the ruling class. You have the power. You make the choice to give it to someone like Donald Trump, and you can make a different, better choice that will better represent your values and get more Republicans elected to other places, other positions of power, so that way you don't have to. I had a friend of the podcast and a friend of ours like email me today on, there's an article about Tim Walz. He goes, oh, this makes me sick. Well, guess what? We don't have to feel sick, because this stuff wouldn't happen if we had more Republicans elected to positions of authority. And you can't blame Democrats for democrating, but I can blame Republicans for doing things that turn off the electorate, because it's not about browbeating people in the suburbs into believing what you believe. That has happened 0 times in the history of history.
And here's the deal. It's not only that, we lost this last election despite inflation through the roof, public safety concerns in areas that Republicans could have picked up. And I have Republicans saying, well, Minnesotans, I guess, just don't care. They've all gone blue. They just don't care about this stuff. No, they cared about it. They haven't just gone blue. The whole complexion of the state is not completely changed, but they liked our brand still less. They're like, yeah, I'm ticked off about, I'm really mad at inflation. And yes, I think public safety has gone to the dogs, but not you guys. That's how bad it was. That's the truth of it, Republicans. We have to acknowledge that if we want to win, because if you don't like what's going on with Governor Walz, if you don't like what the trifecta is doing, if you don't like what Biden's doing in Washington, do things differently, because we have lost the last 3 election cycles. And the last 3.
And let's just talk
about. They liked us.
That's what happened. They go, no, I hate this, but still not you guys.
Wait, Davis, I feel like we have become their couples therapy. Like they're processing right now.
This is so frustrating, because when people say, oh, you can't win in Minnesota, and then, oh, Minnesotans just don't care about this. That's not true.
We win here all the time before. And let's just talk about,
Rhinos.
When you
were Rhinos.
Well, when I started as staff for the Minnesota House of Representatives, Egan, red. Apple Valley, deep red. Lakeville probably wasn't even a thing yet, but would have been super red.
One of the most conservative voting records in the Minnesota Senate was me. It's not.
Yeah, but now
about this stuff.
Egan has been blue for a long time. Apple Valley is blue and probably not turning back. Lakeville is still red, but guess what? Unless we have a lot of people who are moving to Elko Newmarket or Northfield, which is blue, but anyway, and we just can't say we're just going to keep going south, because eventually you hit Iowa.
Yeah, that will happen.
Well, I mean,
and there are lots of Republicans there.
Yeah.
NBC, no relation to NBC.